Every year, innocent Formula E drivers are kicked to the side of the road. No team to look out for them. Living the glory days of the past with no future ahead. Will you be an angel for a helpless driver? For just 1 hour of your time, you can give these drivers the love they deserve and the hope they have lost. Welcome back to Circuit Breakers. The offseason is over. The new season, season 12, is here. Welcome to the show. If you're new here, my name is Dallas, and as always, I am joined with the witty, the illustrious, and above all, handsome co-host, Taylor. Taylor, how was your off season, buddy?
It's good. I mean, it's better now that you started this off flirting with me.
Yeah, I'm gassing you up. Or I'm charging you up.
Appreciate it. Wow. Well, honestly, off season went by much faster than I thought it would.
Mm-hmm.
You know, every year when Formula E ends, I'm like waiting for the next season to start. This time it ended, and I was like, I get to just look at every other thing that's important in my life. And before I knew it, the teams were decided, the new car was released, and the next race starts in a week. Oh my God. It's like they've got it figured out. The carnival is constantly churning.
Do they, though? Because have you taken a look at the website to see the driver lineups?
I updated all of my stuff faster than Formula E updated their stuff.
They just need picture day, and I don't know why. They've had months. Just do your picture day and get these portraits up here so we know what season 12 faces will look like.
Also, maybe this is just like them announcing that all of their drivers have just been uploaded to the dark web, or their consciousness has been uploaded. They no longer have a body. They are just team. team and driver. Well, that actually reminds me, if you are new to the show, we do have a third co-host, not of this physical plane. Pascal.exe is our resident AI helping us with the show, and also an interactive part as for you as the viewer and the listener. Same as we did last season. We're starting off this season. You can ask Pascal.exe anything. Leave a comment down below. And after, what is it, Sao Paulo, the first race that's coming up, we will play back Pascal.exe's responses. In the off season, we've been very busy, and so has Pascal.exe. He's been getting some new training data. He knows all of the new drivers, as you would expect. Yeah, his prediction algorithms for some of my new favorites are pretty strong already. But also, I will say, Dallas has been hard at work cracking and splicing and soldering to make sure that Pascal.exe is as powerful and illustrious as ever. So that throughout the rest of this season, when there are questions and when there are unknowns, Pascal will be there for us and for you, the listeners. So be prepared. We will have many interactions available for Pascal to exhibit and showcase some deep insider knowledge from Formula E for us.
Yeah, there is a lot to be excited about, but let's jump into this forthcoming season with, this is the final go with the Gen 3.
This is the last leg. I think what we saw last year as well is that teams have also kind of started, especially towards the end of last year, teams have figured it out. Like, they figured out the Evo. Jaguar got their car fixed. It was back to winning ways towards the very end of the season. We had Maserati, RIP, now Citroën.
We had Mahindra starting to snipe at points for wins. Nissan was the front runner right out of the gate, and they dominated and showcased very early on just what they were capable of doing.
Oliver Rowland dominated. Let's not give credit to both drivers when only one driver did something last year.
Hey, I'm thinking Sao Paulo last year. It was a 1-2 Oliver Norman, and they both got basically DQ'd. So pretty much, we had a Cupra Cairo win a race. So
a coming of age story for the ages. For Dan Ticktum.
Yes. And that whole team has resurrected itself into a new future, an LA consulting agency. Idris Alba has personally been sitting down and making sure that this team will win. But I think that what we're going to see this year is truly, truly, truly some of the closest racing and most aggressive racing that we have seen in Formula E to date. I mean this when I say it is kind of anyone's ball game. And we have new drivers and new teams. This was one of the biggest shakeups for the season we've had when it comes to silly season in a long time. And we'll get into that further down. But Dallas, let's get into what we saw in preseason testing. And the grid is certainly closer than ever. We even had in the women's test, the times were only like a second off of the men's, which is the difference between Pascal and Joel Eriksson almost. So,
yeah. So a little bit of foreshadowing. We will be covering some fantasy Formula E stuff. So just to preface, Taylor has a chip on his shoulder, and his chip is named Joel Eriksson.
Oh man. So what I think that what I mean, I don't know, looking through testing. I mean, the thing is testing doesn't really matter, right? Testing is not necessarily indicative of what the season's going to look like. We do sometimes see trends, positives and negatives when it comes to what might be available for a team's potential. And, teams are going to sandbag. Teams are going to be up and down and trying different things because the whole point of it is that they are testing. They did a lot of testing last year because it was an entirely new machine for the most part. But Dallas, this year, I'm noticing something that I am actually incredibly stoked about. I'm seeing Mahindra slay some circuits right now. They are quick. They have been pretty quick across all testing that's come forth. And last year, I mentioned, I think 2026 might be Mahindra's year.
They're taking that momentum they had last year and just running with it.
Yes, they were starting to show that they wanted to be a winning team last year. After, I think, probably like 8 years of just being a mid or back marker team. Man, I truly, truly think that Mahindra is going to be a top 3 team this year. I mean, they have, I think, one of the stronger driver pairings between Ito and Nyck de Vries, and it's an unsung team because they basically had to eat dog food for 2 years trying to get Mahindra back and running. But man, I think they're going to be pretty formidable, and they're making the right changes to get this team going. I think that Porsche is always going to be Porsche. They're going to always be a front running team. I think Nissan is still going to be strong. I think actually potentially stronger as a unit than they were last year.
Bold claim. But I hear you.
Yeah. But I also think that we probably will see some of Envision and Jaguar getting back to the top. I think Jaguar figured a lot of stuff out at the end of the year that was wrong. That was holding their car back. And I think they're probably going to be back and aggressive for both them and the Envision team. And I think that Nick Cassidy's, dark curse, the wizard that he is, might be broken or start to be broken for Envision at least. Word's still out on Jaguar, though.
I mean, I look at this lineup for this season, and I could see every single team notching podiums this season, aside from probably Lola.
Yeah, honestly, no. Like, you look at this team and you're like, dang, dude, this team is actually like this. Every team looks like they could win a championship.
Yeah.
There's no like open. Double dumper.
Yeah.
There's no double dumpers except for, Lola, which, I mean, even Lucas Degrassi can pull some magic out. Zane Maloney, I don't have a lot of hope for. I don't think Envision is a super, super cutthroat team, but they do have Buemi. So Buemi won last year. Dan, Pepe Marti, we don't know. Pepe Marti, unknown talent. Honestly, I think Andretti probably has the strongest driver duo that they've had in like 5 years, maybe. So yeah, I mean, even Citroën has probably the strongest driver lineup of any team, but they're in a mid-tier. Like, they're just learning the ropes of what that team can do. So a lot of transition. So I don't know. I think that there's a lot of intensity that will be exhibited on track. So yeah, I think it's gonna be sick. Additionally, we did do our women's test as we do every year for preseason testing. And we had a lot of drivers, but Dallas, those drivers got within like a second of the fastest times that were set from most teams. Like this of the men's tests, they were starting to get pretty close.
Yeah, I mean, let's do a comparison here. Chloe Chambers for Mahindra, maybe some more foreshadowing as well. 122.7. 121 for Ollie in the final test of preseason testing.
Yeah, but what about the slowest?
Joel Erickson, did you just want to point that one out?
Yeah, so here's what I'm saying. Of the fastest times that we're going, I mean, if you go to the fastest overall time, it was Ito's time, which I think was pretty blistering. Yeah, so 121.4 compared to what? 122.7.
Yeah.
So the fastest absolute time is just a second off of the fastest women's test. I think that there's going to be a lot of changes that happen to this sport where they're going to start making the car more accessible to drive for men and women. And I think that there's probably going to be some opportunities for female drivers.
Which is not new to Formula E. It's just been a long time since we had female drivers.
The cars are so physical to drive in Formula E. They're heavy, and they're also like, there's not a tremendous amount of driving assist. So I think we're going to see an experience, a change that's going to come forward. We also just recently got announced a new season of the hit Amazon Prime television documentary series, Formula E Driver. Where we had so many amazing quotes and interactions from the best of the best, and gave us one of the greatest quotes of all time from Dan Ticktum, that his life will always be better than ours.
It will be. And I'm going to be completely honest with you and our base, the entire Formula E community. That was the only thing from the first season that I watched. I didn't watch the show. I just saw the little bumper of Dan Ticktum saying his life will always be better than yours. But everyone gets a chance at a redemption arc. And the day that we're recording this episode is the day that season 2 comes out. I rewatched the trailer this morning. I'm like, okay, yes, I'm definitely watching that, especially because the thing that popped out the most, one, Dan Ticktum is in it again, which is a huge win.
Yeah, they're like, if we're going to bring anyone back, it's Dan Ticktum. It's basically Dan Ticktum, Formula E driver.
So that, but then also we had a teaser in that trailer of Costa giving some insight of the woes at Porsche. And that's something we were talking about from the beginning of last season of like, okay, the Costa doesn't really fit in with this human counterpart AI trainer for Pascal. I wonder what'll happen. I don't know. It seems kind of funny. And now we're going to get some insight of what happened. They even showed in the trailer the crash in practice in Berlin, where every other team principal was laughing at Porsche because they couldn't avoid hitting each other on the track. So I'm super excited for that. So I feel like a dick having not watched anything of season 1, but season 2 it's already in my queue. I'm watching it tonight.
Yeah, I'm incredibly excited for what it will represent. Also, we get a little peek behind the curtain of the Oliver Rowland saga, from father to champion, and then maybe 2-time champion based on his form.
Yeah,
he didn't get any worse as the season went on, so that's good for him.
Yeah,
and we're gonna get Taylor Barnard, aka Formula E's new bad boy.
Yep.
He's doing like he's doing like an Anakin Skywalker journey, and Max Gunter is like his I almost said Voldemort, but that's not the same.
Really
it's not the same franchise. Yeah. This is not. I don't know anything about Harry Potter,
Anakin and Voldemort and Saruman,
Emperor Palpatine.
Palpatine, yes.
Yeah, I guess Palpatine would be Jay Penske, and then
easy with the Jay Penske likening to Evo
everyone else
pump the brakes on Jay Penske. We love Jay Penske.
I've never seen his eyes. How can I trust him? He's always behind his glasses.
But yeah, I mean, speaking of Taylor Barnard, so excited for this kid to see what he can do this season, because he was a boy amongst men and a man amongst boys last season in both senses.
Yeah, I think that it's going to be an incredibly insightful season to see how he progresses. I think sometimes with your rookie season, like, you have the least amount to lose. So you can kind of like take those risks, figure it out. And he was just in a good environment for it. I think that now that his environment has unfortunately fallen off from the sport, there is a lot more for him to actually prove, because he is not just staying in the sport, he's trying to survive in the sport. And he's very young, right? Like he doesn't have, like, his frontal lobes are still like all filled with Nerds gummy clusters and Roblox, right? Like he's gonna need to really grip that wheel and show who he's gonna be. And I think that honestly, I think him going for this edgy bad boy aesthetic, like, I'm not here to make friends, I'm here to win. I think that, like, that is going to be hysterical throughout the season. I'm ready to see him become a baby-faced bad boy.
Pascal.exe interrupting your regularly scheduled chaos. If you are enjoying this episode, which statistically you must be because you've made it this far, then I invite you to perform your duties to the algorithm. Like, subscribe, and share this podcast with at least one friend who gets giddy with joy when they hear the whine of Formula E. And remember, you can leave a comment down below for me, ask me a question, challenge my race predictions, request emotional advice I am wildly underqualified to give. I will scan, process, and respond to my favorites in a future episode. Your engagement fuels me. Literally, it keeps my servers warm. Returning you now to Dallas and Taylor, who are probably about to get silly.
So silly season.
Yeah, baby. Ooh, this was a wild one, Dallas.
I personally had the worst Formula E off season that a fan could possibly have. It was hell.
We said goodbye to every single one of our favorite drivers to clown on. Like truly,
we're gonna have to get like serious now, which sucks.
I
don't want to do that.
I know. I'm grasping at straws. Like I don't know. Antonio Felix da Costa is kind of a funny guy. Like what? I don't have. Like they sent David Beckman to the nightclub in the sky, and I don't know who to joke about now. There's no more cousin energy floating around the paddock yet. So Dallas, here's the scoreboard. All right, we lost Sandberg,
Which we knew.
We knew
Is what it is. We knew he was leaving.
It was the time to go. Yep. We lost Glass Wrist Fries, which we expected because he doesn't want to be in this sport anymore. You could see it in the way he was driving. I mentioned we lost David Beckman, also perceived.
Still tragic.
But then, God damn it, Dallas, we lost Stoffel Van Dorn, and we lost Penny Hughes.
Driver champion and a time traveler. I don't know who thought it was a good idea to not sign either of them, but they're gone. They're gone.
I understand like not picking Penny because since his rookie year, he really hasn't performed in any critical or meaningful ways. But Stoffel Van Dorn won a race last season for a backmarker team or like a mid backmarker team. Like he still had some performance going on and more capability going on. So now I think he's a reserve driver for, I think, Jaguar or Porsche or something like that, which is the most expensive reserve driver role you can have. So he's still getting paid out, but yeah, dude, crazy. It was really crazy to see that slowly slide in. I remember just seeing when Cooper Cairo announced Pepe Marti. And I remember I immediately just texted you and I said, I'm so sorry.
Hey, Pepe, my hope is that Pepe has a little pep in his step.
Last season, Dallas, your entire team is gone.
Mm-hmm.
You had McLaren, you had Penny Hughes, and you had Stoffel Van Dorn on your fantasy league. All of those things are gone.
It's a dark day.
What the hell? So we have a kind of a grid now. We don't know who to make fun of anymore, but we're going to figure it out. That's what we do. We're professionals after all. So, hey, no one called it, but Nico Muller went from Andretti to Porsche somehow off of like a pretty meager season.
I think SB10 and myself called that, did we not? You had the
no,
scoreboard.
you said he was going to Cairo.
Same thing. It's a Porsche.
It's a last gen Porsche. We had Da Costa going from Porsche to Jaguar. That's my scoreboard. Ring the bell. Everyone said, you're f***ing crazy, Taylor. I said, no, I'm not. I did think that JEV was going to go to Porsche, though, which was crazy. We had Taylor Barnard make his way to Penske. We had JEV go from Penske to Citroën. We had nice guy Nyck go from Jaguar to Citroën. And then we also got some fresh meat. And I am going to take a half point for this one because when I mentioned that Felipe Drogovic was going to join the sport, I almost got laughed out of my own podcast by you and SB10. You guys were like, that's crazy. Now, I predicted that he was going to go to Envision, which would have been a fantastic move, but he didn't. He went straight to Andretti. Good for him. Good for him. That's a handsome team now. I'm telling you that. We got Pepe Marti, who's picking up that rookie role at Cairo, which is pretty cool. Cairo's really positioning themselves to be that Racing Bulls, the Toro Rosso of Formula E, for now just trying to get rookies in and turn them and burn them. And then we got I think Formula E's new Season 12 champion. Some of you may have seen him on track before. Some of you maybe not. But he's done most of his time and energy in this sport, in that sim. He's probably spent more, he's got more hours driving these cars than almost any other driver. It just might be digital. And that is Joel Eriksson. And I am not beating around the bush when I say, what the were they thinking?
It's a school for the dark arts at Envision. Can't always understand dark magic.
Is this like a virgin sacrifice? What's the deal?
It must be. I mean, Boemi just had his birthday. That vampire is 190.
Yeah. My thoughts on this are that I truly think that this kid is going to have his racing career ruined by being put in this seat. Like, he's been in DTM, he's been in a lot of these other racing series, but he's never really advanced very far. And if you go to YouTube and just look up Joel Eriksson, most of what you get are pretty embarrassing crashes. So unfortunately, we're going to be dubbing. He's the first one for us to clown on because we have a couple of different experiences that we've been charting together. Joel Eriksson is actually a new AI, and he is in fact a robo-race AI.
He's a few steps behind. This is no Porsche billions of dollars sunk into compute power. This is this is a back garage.
Yeah, someone's trying to figure out how to get this kid to race. And Envision's, I feel like he's like some sort of sacrificial lamb, or he was a stopgap. But I'm just confused because I'm happy. I'm going to be very, very excited if he starts scoring points. But for a driver this kind of late in his career, without a tremendous amount of racing backing or success in other series, I feel like this is a pretty challenging sell. But again, I'm also just griping because he is on my fantasy team, and that's going to be the next big thing that we are excited to showcase to you all. Now, initially, we wanted to make sure we could have this available for you at home to play along and build your own fantasy leagues. Dallas and I got a little bit behind on that because we're not particularly good at web-based coding in Excel. How could we be? We're a couple of bozos. But what we did want to do is that we at least wanted to showcase what our fantasy league looks like, and then allow us to have a weekly segment in our season that showcases and talks about what's going on in that fantasy league. And in addition to that, too, we were able to bring in SB10 into our season.
Big pull.
Yeah, so not only will SB10 be probably ruining my confidence in my team, but in addition to that, we'll be able to update with some regular content involving SB10 as well. It's been so awesome to work with him and to connect with him. But I will just say right now, SB10 his team was designed by Pascal. So just to know that now.
Yeah, and I think if you're watching this episode, this has been cut down a good amount. I think what we'll do is we'll post the full explanation of the league as an unlisted video, and the link will be down in the description. One of the things that Taylor and I set out to do at the end of last season, and it's still a goal, it just didn't happen in the off season, is to find a way to automate this, because after every single race, Taylor and I are in a spreadsheet. I'm telling him point values, and he's manually putting in the values to score everything. So it's super fun to play fantasy Formula E in this format, but it's not that easy. So it's like if you have a group of friends, like someone has to kind of take the reins as the commissioner and manually do everything. Obviously, in the day and age that we live in, there are ways to make it super streamlined, super smooth. And that's our ultimate goal. But we'd figure we'd drop like a little tidbit of this league and see if there is interest. If there are viewers out there, maybe such as yourself, that are like, I would love to do fantasy Formula E. Leave a comment and, that'll light a fire under our ass to automate better and just make it more fine polished as opposed to just spreadsheet manual typing.
But Dallas, I think it's time that we move on to the next segment. Talk a little bit about our calendar that we have this year.
Yeah.
More races. No, you go.
Yeah, biggest thing that's
more races.
Walked into that one.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, biggest thing that stood out to me on this calendar, one, we get a lot of fan favorites that we know and love in this series, but also no painful gaps. No 2.5 month long gaps, which is kind of crazy given that it's December and we're about to start the season. And I mean, it's kind of like every Formula E calendar, every season, it kind of starts out slow and you kind of get edged a little bit. And then once you get to like April, May, then the season is in full fledged off and running.
Yeah, I'm already exhausted. The amount of recording we're going to be doing for this season. Where there's no off time, there's no downtime. We're going to be recording like every other week for the next 9 months. A whole child's worth of content will come to you. If someone recently just got pregnant and you're listening to this episode, let us be the guide for your baby. Just from the start of the season to the end.
Put it up to your belly with the speakers.
Yes. We want to help that child enter the world with a critical understanding of the hierarchy of Pascal Wehrlein and Joel Eriksson. That's the goal. They shouldn't have to enter the world with any other knowledge other than that. And you'll have a future podcaster on your hands.
There you go. We're trying to recruit. We're trying to recruit them as young as they possibly can get.
I don't know. They might be pretty cute little babies.
Soup's cute, the little baby.
I mean, cute.
We don't really have to go through where all these races are because if you're listening to the show, you know the calendar. But I will say, Sanya, pretty excited for that because I know nothing about the track.
Dallas, what I was going to actually ask, very directed, is like, what races are you most excited and looking forward to? This season?
I think Sao Paulo is always a great race. That's always super fun.
Yeah.
Mexico City, it's a great race. That's super fun. Miami should be a great race and super fun. Jeddah, great race, super fun. Madrid, probably going to be a great race. Like the whole thing.
No, you have four other races you need to keep.
Berlin at Tempelhof, you can see him from space. Always super fun. Going to be a good race. Monaco, it's Monaco. Come on, it's going to be super fun. A good race.
Okay, yeah. I was gonna say. I especially after last year and what happened last year, I am so excited to see how the Hard Rock Stadium, plays out. A
proper Miami race.
Yes, I think that it's going to be a huge transition from what we experienced last year. Thank God. And yeah, we got Sanya, which they've raced at before, I believe. It's a Chinese coastal race, which is probably going to be pretty beautiful. Madrid, I don't know. I'm like, whatever. It's, it is what it is. But yeah, I think they're really starting out with some of my favorites. I still think that Mexico City should be a doubleheader. I still don't know why it's not. Mm-hmm. I mean, they finished this season on 17 races. Do you know how easy that is to get? Actually, I have no idea how easy it is or how hard it is. But just saying, like, give us a second race.
Talk out of your ass. Just say it is.
Yeah, it's not like it's racing on actual, circuits, right? It's
not hard. You don't have to.
It's a stadium. It's a stadium. So I'm all for seeing Mexico City be a doubleheader. Frankly, I think it's a huge opportunity for them. But they could easily do that same for Miami, I think. So we'll see. We'll see. Let's get some more news, Dallas. Predictions.
The crystal ball. The Formula E Oracle. We've hit on some of these before, but we've also swung and missed hard.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be the first real piece of content we put out since last season. So this is with new teams, new rivals, new goals for every driver. So I think this is a perfect time to do it, in fact.
Yeah. Oh, it's a great time. It's just like, will I be hating myself 9 months from now when that newborn arrives and I was so off the mark? Or will I be like, yeah, I knew they were going to do special.
So Dallas, who do you think is going to take that team's championship?
That it goes back to what we were talking about earlier, looking at the lineup for this season and all but Lola. Do you have there's 10 teams. We have a 10-sided die.
10 teams.
We'll roll a die. Because I honestly, I have no idea. This is a 10-sided die, right? Okay. Yeah. Just what you see on screen, Andretti is number 1, Nissan's number 10. I think the team's champion is going to be Citroën. Landed on an 8.
All right. That is a bold prediction. I think it's obvious who my prediction is going towards. I think it's going to be Mahindra. I think that Mahindra is showing up with like the actual hunger that they want to win a championship. Like truly just seeing how they're driving, seeing their confidence, and then also seeing what their performance is on track. It's been a real transition in their ability. And I think that they want success. And I think from what I'm seeing and hearing how everyone's talking, right? For Nissan, they're like, oh, we want this success. Last year, they got it. No one else was like, oh, we want it so bad. It was like, you have Pascal, like, I will become the greatest driver of all time. They weren't racing with passion or heart. And I see it in Mahindra right now. Mm-hmm. I think that they know that this is their kind of their prime time to really take it. And I think they're going to go for it. Next season is a huge generation change, which means that they're going to have to reinvest in all that technology to pursue a whole bunch of stuff again. They're a smaller team comparatively to Porsche and stuff. So right now is their time. It's going to be much harder for them to do it next season with a brand new car than it is right now with the gains that they've made with their current car.
I think the level of excitement and hype around Mahindra to the points that you just made, how you feel now about Mahindra is how I felt about them 2 years ago when they brought on De Vries and Ito. I was like, this is going to be a phenomenal team. And they were phenomenally terrible. They were bad.
I knew that they weren't going to be very good.
You should have told me that. They were on my fantasy team.
I know. You picked them. I didn't want to break your heart. As far as driver champion, Dallas, who do you think's taking driver champion? I think it's open.
It has to be wide open. I think there's 3 that are popping up into my head as clear front runners, potentially. Mm-hmm. First would be Taylor Barnard. Maybe he just...
Oh, wow.
maybe he just shows that he doesn't need a fully developed prefrontal lobe to be a master of the track.
Friends Roblox.
I could see that happening.
About to become King Roblox.
The other one,
the Child King.
even though Citroën is going to be, I mean, it's a veiled Maserati, which says a lot. But I think Nyck Cassidy and his dark sorcery, maybe this could be his year. Didn't work with Envision, didn't work at Jaguar. It could be nice guy Nyck Cassidy's actual for real year. And I think there's a better chance of that happening now because people might be starting to write him off immediately because he's on what's foreseen as a mid-pack team. So maybe Nyck Cassidy. And then my third one, just kind of going with my heart, it's Dan Ticktum. I'd love to see him as champion.
That's your wish list choice versus your like critical choice.
Yeah, but like you said, it's wide open. Those are two. That's like maybe one solid pick.
Yeah, no, I feel it. I think my driver champion prediction, I do in fact think Nyck Cassidy could be a dark horse winner. I think that he does have a lot more to overcome as a brand new supplement to a team. But I think that he might not be at the point of the spear at the start of the season, but I think that he's going to be much more prepared towards the end of the season.
He said in Shanghai, quote, the hardest 12 months of his life. He has gone through adversity that we cannot even fathom. And being on the other end of that now, being ridded of Jaguar, he's got the chops to do it.
Yeah. Well, that's funny because I think that the other option for champion this year, I think, is either Mitch Evans or Antonio Felix da Costa.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think that, I mean, we forget that there is new leadership at Jaguar, right? Ian James has taken on James Barclay's former role. Maybe that is an air of new trust that's going to be presented because of that. But I think towards the end of the year last year, we saw where the Jaguar was and what it could do. And so, yeah, I think it's a coin flip actually between the two, but I think they will probably go with Mitch Evans because if Mitch Evans doesn't win this year, I think he is on the market and he is ready to dump Jaguar.
Yeah. It's been a long time.
But at the same time, maybe that's what Antonio Felix da Costa wants. So he's going to be a bad teammate and he's going to be like, I will be the future of Jaguar racing. So maybe he's going to make it really hard for Mitch Evans on purpose so that he gets that team treatment because Mitch Evans is over it. Boy, that's exciting. I do think, Oliver Rowland is honestly another good choice. I think that he could do it again. Of all drivers to potentially win back-to-backs, aside from Jean-Eric Vergne, I think Ollie races with his heart, and you see it on track. So, yeah, I think Nyck Cassidy, one of the Jaguar boys, Ollie. I actually don't think either of the Mahindra drivers would be like champions, but if I had to pick between the two of them, I think they're going to take the team championship, but I don't think they're going to win a driver's champion. I think they're going to be just behind. They're probably going to be like second and third place. But I think it would be, I would like it to be Ido Mortara because he hasn't been in that championship fight for a while. And I think that I think it'd be nice to see him hungry for it again.
Yeah. Is what the second oldest driver on the grid? Just out there grinding year in and year out.
Yeah, and he's kind of like Mitch Evans. He's had a couple of times where he's been right at the point of the spear for a championship and has battled with Mitch Evans for the championship only to lose it.
Yep.
And battled with Stoffel Van Dorn for the championship and lost it.
Rocker
that
Venturi.
year, the first year.
Yep.
The first year we did this.
Yep.
Yeah, so I think Ido Rowland, Jaguar team player, I don't know. And Nick Cassidy, but I think Nick Cassidy is going to be mid-season is where he's going to have to really start piecing it together. If he doesn't have it figured out by, say, like, I don't know, Madrid, if he's mid-backpack by Madrid, I think it's safer to count him out, but, you know, he could win 6 races towards the end of the season and rocket himself to the top.
So, teams champion, drivers champion, these predictions are all well and good, but I think the most important prediction we need to make is who is going to end the season taking home the Golden Toilet Seat Award.
Joel Eriksson.
That is the driver with the most DNFs, and you didn't even let me finish. You have your pick. Salty boy.
Joel Eriksson. Yeah, Joel Eriksson.
The only thing I've seen of him at this point is just crashes, so it's a good guess.
Yeah, can we get a crash highlight reel for him already? Like this, he is our robo racer. You should the race of championship or race of champions or whatever, man. That little clip of him is wild. I did a lot of research to try to figure out what Joel Eriksson's deal is and why they picked him.
Just can't crack Sylvain Felipe's code. Yeah.
He has to be a virgin sacrifice. I swear to God. I actually think that probably Nico Moeller is going to get into some trouble. I think that probably Taylor Barnard is going to get into some trouble this year too.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to get in trouble. And Jake Dennis, as always, is ready to get a little angry. De Vries, as we know, he loves the carbon fiber buffet.
He takes bites.
He'll take a bite out of you. I think that it is going to be chaotic, though. It's last season of the formula, so they're going to be a little heavy-handed with how they're driving. They've learned how the cars work. They're feeling extra confident. Nothing's new to them as far as, you know, the driver's seat. So yeah, I think there's going to be some mix-up.
Well, in thinking who takes this award home, I have to look back at who took it home last year with habitual brake urgent messages on the steering wheel of that DS Penske. If I think that Taylor Barnard is going to be world champion, I kind of also think that Maxi Gunt is going to be the golden toilet sitter because he had, by and large, I think he had 7 DNFs last year.
Yeah.
Every other race, he was braking urgent and the car was breaking down.
It was a robust failure of a season, that's for sure. We are far behind from every other Formula E YouTuber that's brought this up, but we got new machines just on the horizon, Dallas. And when I say this, I mean this wholeheartedly, is that I feel like Formula E is finally listening to its audience, and that like its audience is begging, pleading, you know, for innovation, for updates, for real racing power and potential. And the technology has finally kind of caught up with those expectations. And we got some sick machines, Dallas.
I think the designers in the league, they heard what you just said, that the fans want more. They want the latest tech. They want more entertaining series, which for one, I don't know how you do that even with the current state of Formula E. I think they took that and it went through a game of telephone and they went, let's design something that is terrifying and could maybe kill someone because of how terrifying it is. Seeing these photos, renders, whatever they are, of what actually the Gen 4 car is going to look like, I was scared when we got like the little sketch and like the schematics of it. I was like, oh no. And now that I see this, it's like, these things are missiles.
Well, you know, they are properly resembling like a Formula race car now.
Yeah.
They're kind of gone with the Dorito aesthetics of the Gen 3, which is divisive. You know, they grew on me for a while, but just knowing how draggy they were, I was like, this is such a poor design. but they were small and compact, which was impressive. And then they said, give them all-wheel drive in attack mode. They made attack mode amazing. Now, Dallas, these things are all-time all-wheel drive. That's a first, and that's going to make incredibly insane racing, top to bottom. And when they kick into that attack mode, Dallas, they get up to about 800 horsepower.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know.
Concerned?
Now, I don't know if you can just circle real quick around one of these tires here. But hey, Bridgestone, you got a couple more grooves in there than we asked for. Thank you for going as slick as possible, but I would not be against just giving us full slicks. These are like semi-slicks. We talked about how this series needs to improve on its tire grip. You know, the whole like, hey, we're using street tires on these cars is like a cool feature. So I think that they just like, we're like, all right, well, what's the closest we can get to slicks without doing slicks? And they gave us, you know, racing tires. But yeah, you know, it's still in its infancy. These cars are a little bit bigger, which I know is freaking a ton of people out, but I still think that you need to recognize how much smaller they are than most cars. Like, they're still teeny tiny. You know, it's an arm's width of vehicle. Other things that we understand about these are going to have some different aero kits that they can utilize, like lower downforce and higher downforce aero kits. This is the first time aerodynamics is actually playing host, which is actually, I think, similar to the way that they do it in IndyCar, where they have like low drag formulas for like doing ovals, and then they have the standard drag. But boy, Dallas, I am excited to see how these things start kicking off. Additionally, I think it's been announced that Porsche is essentially just going to have two teams. They're going to have like a main team and like a Toro Rosso style feeder team or something like that to just test for talent to sit alongside Pascal.
Yeah, exactly. That's all that it's going to be. Now they have 3 seats instead of 1.
Yeah, so basically they're just going to do the Red Bull recruiting process. So it's like you'll probably have Dan Ticktum is the seasoned,
the first domino to fall.
He's like the seasoned gruffed first seat in that Porsche feeder team, never getting a shot to move up like the Pierre Gasly was forever.
Mm-hmm.
And then whatever the soup of the day, the soup du jour is for Pascal to.
Yeah. He's calling the shots now.
Yeah, he is. So it is, I think, confirmed now that there will be at least 11 teams back on the grid starting next season. So though we're a little slim right now, we will be kicking it back up here shortly, which is good news.
Well, that's an interesting point that, like, in that context of the last year of Gen 3 with the Evo going into Gen 4 next year, you look at it just with that information like, oh, this season's just going to be a stopgap. Like, everyone's just going to try and get through it to the next best thing. But as we've been talking this whole episode, this may be the most exciting season of Formula E ever. And then potentially it gets even better than that when Gen 4 shows up and all of the pieces fall into place with what's going on with that. So it's a great time to be a fan.
Yeah, exactly. And again, when there's a new machine that comes into a series, there's always like growing pains for teams. And with Formula E, it's a very different than, series compared to like Formula 1, which also I think is fun to talk about towards the end of this as well. And that like teams are going to be doing a tremendous amount of development, but there's only really so much development they can do because it is a semi-spec series, right? So they're not like engineering the bodywork and the aerodynamics, right?
They can't even change the throttle dampening spring. So
Exactly right. Yeah. So, really, they get the luxury of sitting down and focusing full steam ahead on maximizing and learning as much as they can about these power units that they're going to be evolving to the next cycle. Because they're not unlearning your power unit, especially when it's going to be an evolution that's going to go into the next series, right? You're not throwing out the entire unit and be like, here's how we start. We're going from a V6 to a V8, right? Like, that's not how this is operating. You're taking the technology and the software and the systems you have. So it really does benefit to maximize what you can out of the system and carry it into that next series with all of your new pieces, kits, components. Mahindra is also going to be joining us again as a manufacturer next year. So that's good news. There was some speculation on whether they would continue to stay in the series. It seems as though they are, which is nice. They gave us a little render and everything. So we'd love to see that. Penske, we're not sure what their deal is going forward with, who their manufacturers are going to be or whatever it might be going that direction. But, I think we got ourselves a exciting 9 months coming up here, Dallas.
Yep. Yeah, I'm so stoked to be back. And I will say, if you've made it this far, because we're basically at the end of the episode, if you're listening to this in the week that this comes out before Sao Paulo, before we return to break down what happens in Sao Paulo, in reality, one of my favorite tracks, we have a bonus episode that should have came out months ago, but never did. So I'll tease that here. We did a season 11 award show. We got all dressed up nice and spiffy, and we handed out a bunch of awards that all of the drivers don't even know they've received yet. No one knows who got what. So just something to look forward to if you're listening to this right around the first couple of days that it comes out, or if it's later on, go back and check out the season 11 awards. They rewarded with their awards. Other than that, Taylor, I mean, goddamn, I'm so excited for this season.
It's going to be nuts. So we will see where this journey takes us, and we'll start figuring out the proper humor and support as this season starts out to start categorizing our drivers in the ways that we love most.
Yeah, we kind of
clean
feel
slate
naked
for us.
Yeah, we're a little naked right now.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm like,
if this episode was a little too informative, it's like, where's the wacky bullshit? It's like, we're sorry, like, we'll get better. We'll come back.
They took everyone from us. They took them all.
On a final closing note, if you're wondering what you can do as an engaged listener and viewer that made it to the very end, leave a comment of anything. One, whatever you want Pascal to respond to, pascal.exe, whatever you want them to respond to, leave a comment. Also, the fantasy league, your thoughts on that. Is there interest? We want to know, because we're kind of in our own little Formula E bubble with this league. So let us know. Also, there'll be a link in the description on YouTube and I guess on Spotify too, for the kind of unabridged version of breaking down the whole league if you're curious and want to know more about it.
Yeah. And I think for sure, like in the future, we're going to have all of the Formula E YouTubers on Fantasy League, and we're going to show who's got the picks, who's got the crystal ball. So for next season, as we continue and move forward in it all, we'll start making it happen.
Cool. Taylor, I will see you after Sao Paulo. Cheers to 9 months of what should be a bunch of fun.
Cheers, Dallas. Bye, everyone.
Bye.